The Crypto Markets Update is presented by Grayscale, the world's largest digital currency asset manager.
All right, joining us now to discuss the crypto markets is Sam Sidhu, President and CEO of Pennsylvania-based Customers Bank. Hi there, Sam. So taking a look at this explosive crypto market right now, what's going on? What kind of data are you following to make sense of this huge advance?
Sure, absolutely. Well, thanks, Christine, Emily, and Lawrence for having me. So glad to be here. I think that, Customers Bank, and I'm sure I'll spend a little bit more time talking about our involvement in the crypto industry, but, we're not necessarily advising our customers to buy exposure, nor are we necessarily experts, but our customers are experts and very important industry participants. And I think the trend that you're seeing, Lawrence's joke aside about supply and demand, is that crypto has become too big to ignore. And if banks are not really entering the space, if investors are not entering the space, if ETFs and funds are not entering the space, you'll get left behind. And I think that's the trend that you're starting to see, is that most of the institutional customers are not in the space yet, or rather, but they will be. And the exchanges and the OTC and the liquidity providers and the market makers, they really are starting to represent what the traditional financial markets took decades and decades to build, and they're doing it in a very quick and fast and rapid space, but arguably with much smarter folks than that helped build the industry decades ago in the traditional sense.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But could you venture an explanation for why this is happening right now? And there really is no right answer to this because nobody knows. But some of the trends that you're talking about have actually been going on for a while, right? So what explains this explosion over even the past few days, in your view?
Sure. I think there's new news that comes out every day. I think that what you're also seeing is that the government stimulus, especially for federal unemployment, lapsed about 4 to 6 weeks ago in the form that it was before. And I think that you're seeing every day a new bit of news, along with markets at all-time highs. And then, as such, crypto markets are also at all-time highs. I think I read yesterday that Jeffries was selling gold and buying Bitcoin. And I think this is just a inevitable momentum that is now picking up pace.
So, Sam, on your end, what kind of customers particularly are you noticing going into this space now that weren't before? Can you narrow it down as to the type of buyer you're seeing?
Sure. I think that there were a lot of folks on the sideline as recently as this summer. So, for example, I think Goldman Sachs called it about 6 months ago, said 40% of their private banking customers owned cryptocurrency exposure. I think that number is far higher right now. And as we all know, there's a convergence. It was more a barbelled approach where you had the ultra high net worths who are getting exposure, and then the average retail investor. And I think what's happening right now is the middle of the pack is also really starting to enter into the industry from an investment perspective. And it's moved far beyond curiosity and actually into taking action.
But is there anything in particular you noticed about those buyers? Are they younger? Are they older? Are they how large of a net worth? Are these people with people who have been in the business before? Kind of like pinpoint what's their profile?
Sure. And I think what I would say is it's probably not the best answer you're looking for, and it's not the most insightful, but it is broad-based. And I can use our company as an example, of our employees. As we were entering into the crypto space and into the blockchain and the real-time payment space, we had 3%, 5% of our employees who had either an investment in or a strong understanding of the cryptocurrency space. Now, if you ask even our board of directors, who skews a little bit older, everyone, especially with the advent of the Coinbase going public and so many other new exchanges out there that are so user-friendly, and the onboarding and the on-ramp to cryptocurrency is getting easier and easier, especially with the introduction of banks like ourselves who are helping to facilitate that. It's just building momentum across the board, and there's no one specific investor that I see in my day-to-day that is driving that, but it's more broad-based adoption.
Well, Customers Bank is a small bank, but you've been quite bullish on crypto for a while now. You have your own token, the Customers Coin, and you're making a big play for business clients from the crypto sector. Tell us a bit about that.
Sure, absolutely. So, Customers Bank, as a bit of background, is a forward-thinking, high-tech, supported by a high-touch, top 100 bank in the United States. So we're extremely focused, and we have been extremely focused on tech-forward and digital-first customers. And our banking of the crypto and digital asset ecosystem is really just an extension of that. And the way that we do this is we really, and this is across the board, not just for our digital asset customers, is we enable them through a layer that sits on top of our tech stack and our tech infrastructure. And to your point, in October, we launched the Customers Bank Instant Token. And really what that is it allows two customers of our bank to transact in real time, 24/7, 365 on the blockchain. Really no different than SEN or Signet, and the types of customers that we have onboarded and are continuing to onboard our top 5 exchanges, all of the top OTC desks, largest stablecoin providers, and several of the largest liquidity providers.
I just want to go back to something you just said earlier about the overall market and kind of how, everything is booming. What kind of correlation do you expect to see just over the next few months between, crypto markets and just the stock market, right? Because that's another part of the story. Some of this is not a crypto specific boom.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that what you will see is it's a little bit counterintuitive when you think about maximalists in the cryptocurrency ecosystem. But I think there is going to be and remain high correlation with the financial markets. When you saw valuations pull back in the second quarter of this year, you also saw cryptocurrency valuations pull back. As you're seeing markets at all-time high on a daily basis, you're also seeing Bitcoin at an all-time high on a daily basis. And I think a lot of that has to do with liquidity and sense of overall net worth and the ability to take some chips off the table and move them from a traditional investment into, say, a more speculative, arguably, investment, but a growing portion of investors' asset class. The desire has been there, but when you have a larger bucket and pot to play with, you can now move more of your investments over.